We are NBL Overtime. Hello, wherever you might be, right around this great basketball nation. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved at NBL. Free agency, it has started. I know. It has started officially. We're going to get into all of that. Why it might be a little sluggish compared to 12 months ago. Homicide in the house. What up, man?
What's up, man?
Look, I love off-season. I love the off-season. I love the numbers. You see the numbers? TV numbers, grand final through the roof. This league is going places, and it pumps me up.
Plenty to discuss. Let's get into it.
Liam Santamaria, the best journalist in the game, NBL.com.au, The Huddle. I'm going to reference Chase Buford in that article, the interview yesterday on the podcast. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, good on Chase for giving us some time, debrief on the championship, and a little bit of free agency popping off. A couple of signings left and right. A little bit going on behind the scenes.
Here we go.
Haven't had some big game changes been announced just yet.
We like the behind-the-scenes stuff that Liam just accidentally drops in there, so we'll get to that very shortly. But this time last week, talking about Liam Santamaria, he was like, hey, Scott Roth, he may go back. He hasn't seen his house. He might go back to the USA. He may retire from basketball, coaching. Of course, there's some big Asian offers. There's the passionate man, and there's a very happy man, a very happy state, a very happy NBL that he upped and re-signed for a few, what was it, 2 extra years after next year as well. Great news. I'm going to start with you, Corey. Your team, the JackJumpers, have got their coach.
This was a very important re-signing. He means everything to this organization. We know the hard work that he's put in. We know that with the club, he's overachieved. They've all overachieved this year and exceeded expectations. So to tell the truth, if you thought pressure was on Scott Morrison in the absence of Trevor Gleeson departing to Toronto, if Scott Roth did not come back, whatever coach stepped into that situation, unbelievable pressure that coach would have been on. So good on the JackJumpers for securing their man, my guy, Scott Roth.
Yeah.
Before you go
on.
I'll ask you this. By the end of that contract, okay? By the end of that contract, so it's this and another 2 years, so 3 seasons away.
Plus a mutual.
Please give me a spell. Do you think there'll be a Scott Roth statue outside the Derwent Centre Stadium, My State Bank Arena?
No, they would have to win it to get that.
Yeah. I'm not.
They'd have to win it.
I know.
When we go to
That man will get a statue.
When we go to NBA Summer League,
yes,
and we rock up to the Thomas and Mack Centre there in Las Vegas, there's a statue out the front there of Jerry the Shark Tarkanian. Is it Shark? Tark?
Yeah.
Hopefully, down the track, there's something like that about Scott
Agreed.
Roth out the front there. But Corey's right, they're going to need to do some even bigger and better things. But it's funny, you wouldn't say that usually about a guy who hasn't won a championship. But you're right. I mean, that's why the fact that it wouldn't have made sense for anybody else to be the coach of that team is why it just had to get done. And Scott Roth's the guy who gets stuff done, isn't he? Because he's under contract and yet playing real hardball, saying I need to renegotiate and I might just walk away and so on and so forth. So the fact that all the parties sat down and got together and locked in the guy who is the right person, the absolute, across the whole world, he's the right person to coach that team next season. The fact that that's locked in and ready to go is good news.
He did what more coaches and players around the world have to do. Now, there's very few people in world basketball and maybe world sport who find themselves in a unique situation of which he did. The story, the background, what actually happened on court, off court, it snowballed into the perfect dream. But good on him because he knows exactly. You say he's the only guy in the world that's good for that job. He knows that. He knows that 100%, and he wants long-term security. The state's behind them. And what might have happened had he not been the coach, you don't want to think about it as a JackJumper organisation. So good on him for saying, hang on, I'm in the best possible position I could possibly be in. I did hear that Liam Santamaria was going to be the coach if it wasn't Scott Roth.
No.
Even better news that Scott is saying.
No, you don't. Corey's right. You don't want to be the guy who follows the guy.
Now,
need a guy to go in between.
Now, we spoke on Free Agency Market Watch, the show via the NBL socials on Friday, around their imports.
Yeah.
You had Majette a little closer to signing than Josh Adams. What's happened the last couple of days? Any movement there?
No, I don't think there's a lot of movement in place. But, I mean, this is a big-time watch and see. You know, there's a few different things popping off around the league that we're waiting, we've got our eyes on to see how this plays out. And this dynamic import duo as we know, was massively influential in what the JackJumpers did. You know, and Corey said it right from the start of the season. He saw what this backcourt could do, and so he gave this team a big shot at being highly competitive. So all cards are on the table to try to bring them back. Now, I really like Josh Majette. I think he's a really consistent performer game in, game out. He's a coach on the floor. He's Scott Roth's extension out there, so he's got to be a priority. And Josh Adams, as I said on Market Watch, I think he's going to be really hard to bring back. Now, they're going to put an offer on the table if they haven't already emailed that through to his agent. I'm just not sure it's going to be enough. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get to where they need to get to bring Josh Adams back, because he's going to get some big offers elsewhere around the globe, in China, Japan maybe, in Europe, and it's time for him to make that bank.
Do we see the JackJumpers as a smaller team budget? Or do they have some more money to play with if they have to up on the basis of what he did in the grand finals?
No, I don't think they sit amongst the Melbourne, United, Perth, Sydney as far as the budget's concerned.
All right. I'll tell you what, Illawarra. And now I think this adds a great deal of spice because the rivalry's already at this between the Freeway Series, but Swaka Buluk, who is a championship starting player for the Sydney Kings, was he the first free agent movement? I can't quite think. If he wasn't, he was pretty close to it. That 2-year deal. He ends himself Illawarra Hawks. What'd you make of this?
I think this is a great signing for him. The timing is right. He's played a significant role. Shout out to Nick Kyrgios. He played a significant role in this championship run, mainly on the defensive side of it. I think he's following in the footsteps of a Sunday Dech. He's a young star in the making, and he's going to have a whole lot of opportunity this upcoming season to show on the offensive end what he's able to do. I think this is a huge look for him.
Liam?
Yeah, well, I'm in credit to him for what he did last season.
But you don't agree with Corey, clearly.
Is it the best move for his career and development as a player to go to Illawarra than to stay in that Sydney system? I'm not entirely convinced right off the bat.
That's exactly what you said a couple years ago with Sunday Dech. Both of y'all said, how would you leave Perth Wildcats? He was barely getting any playing time. Look at the player now, 2 years later. Bet on yourself. That's a classic example. And Sunday's about to get a bag.
Yeah.
He's about to get a bag. So imagine if he played and thought, just like what y'all saying right now.
Well, no.
He would never get a bag. He'd never get no burner. He'd be sitting on the bench in Perth.
Yeah.
So why not? You got the championship.
But he was sitting on the bench, so he went for playing time, right?
This is my point. So he bet on himself. And I remember 2 years ago, both of y'all was like, why would you leave a championship winning organization to play?
Yeah,
a championship winning organization holds no weight if you get no playing time.
He was a starter. This kid's a starter on the team.
But guess what?
Yeah, but he's not getting the rock.
He's going. Thank you. Yeah. What did you see him do offensively?
Okay.
No.
He got the $1 million man right here. He got Dejan Vasiljevic right there. Who's next? You got Cooks here. You got Jarrell Martin here. And you got the man coming off the bench who played in the chip and played a significant role. That's 4 more players that's going to get the ball from you. You got the chip. Everybody know you could lock up and play D. You played a significant role. Good on you for getting the chip. I'm going to go here now where there's even less pressure. Even if I'm losing, I'm going to be on the court to show offensively what I can do. A la Sunday Dech. I'm telling you, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Y'all go.
No,
Y'all got it now.
And you make a lot of great points. In my defense, just to keep it 100 so that we're representing history as it really was, I didn't say it was a bad move for Sunday Dech.
You said he shouldn't have done that.
No, I didn't.
You want to go watch that episode?
Yeah, let's bring back the tape. I said it's a big call. Anytime you don't sign with the Perth Wildcats when they want you, that's a big call to make.
Why? If you wasn't getting no playing time, they had you. You was with them and they ain't play you. What are you gonna lose?
He would have been playing these last, if he stuck it out. Now I didn't say it at the time it was a bad decision. I just said it was a big call.
But if you not getting no playing time.
Credit to him. Now,
what else? What you got to lose?
Now, that's not the case with Swaka Buluk. He's getting playing time. He's 4th on that team in minutes played per game, playing an important role. But you're right. He's going to get more opportunity to explore the rest of his game.
Offensively.
No doubt.
You don't get a bag for playing defense.
And that's why...
Not here.
Well,
Facts.
He has cashed in from playing defence on a championship-winning team. So it got to a point where Sydney couldn't go any further on his contract, and they said, "Look, we got these big stars to re-sign. We got to look at the cap. Illawarra, you want to go to another level on this where we can't get to? It is what it is. You give the guy an applause and say thanks for what you did for our club, and as I'm saying, great for him to do that. Now let's see how it goes there in Illawarra. Now, if they bring back an Antonius Cleveland, does he have now the same situation, and is it as good playing when you're not playing alongside, the Jalen Adams and Xavier Cooks with your skill set? Does it flourish? We'll wait and see. Hopefully it does. But in the meantime, you're playing basketball as a pro for only a certain period of time, and you cash in where you can.
Just on Illawarra, just quickly. Antonius Cleveland, Matt Campbell, I'm paraphrasing here, comments he made last week in the Illawarra Mercury. It's on the table, an offer that reflects all NBL first team and Defensive Player of the Year. They want to test the free agency waters. Are you hearing anything around this?
Around Antonius Cleveland?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to get to where he and his agent need.
As in another club in the
Some other
league?
teams have come knocking. Brisbane, I understand, have made some calls and asked a question about Antonius Cleveland. Hopefully somebody can get to... I know he loves playing in the NBL. He would, love to play here. The agent, of course, is saying, well, we can make some money somewhere else. So hopefully someone can get that done.
Yeah, got any DMs this week or text messages? Your DMs are very active this time of year. Is there anything in the last couple of days?
Nothing to discuss.
Nothing. So you've got one or two, but you can't disclose it.
Yeah.
I'll accept that. Is it not from the guy that gave you the Sean Long info those years ago, who had an office next to the office of the Wildcats?
He's muted. He's blocked.
He's blocked.
Can't get in touch with me anymore.
Just on Sydney, Sean Bruce, 2-year deal. And look, we know how great of a story Sean Bruce is. Out of the league, forces his way into a really strong Sydney Kings team. And his importance, he was out for a lot of this season with injury, but his importance come to the fore in games 2 and 3 of the grand final series without Jalen Adams. And he gets congratulated in the best possible way with a multi-year deal.
Yeah, he's a great story. We've talked about his story and the fact that he's out of the league and then he gets his way back in and then he does really well. And now he's become a heart and soul guy. Like, you want to talk about who's the heart and soul of the Sydney Kings, and you talk to people within that organisation. Speaking of Chase Buford yesterday, I said, what were your favourite, coolest moments in the celebrations? He said some conversations I had, some quiet conversations with Sean Bruce, just talking about his journey, the fact he's a champion now after playing in the league for so long, and the fact that he's, seen as being an important part of a winning team. So that's cool. Lock him away. And that's not speaking at all about what he can actually do out there on the floor. When called upon in big moments, in big games, Corey, he got the job done. Look,
I'm a huge fan, like we all are, and it's great to see him being rewarded in that way. And as you said, remember when, the pandemic year, he had career numbers that year when he just came out of nowhere, basically, right? And got opportunity and cashed in on opportunity, read up. And then to come around again, injured, not getting a whole lot of minutes, but when Jalen Adams went down, he stepped up seamlessly. And that's just a testament of, preparation is power, being prepared when you're called upon to step up and step up big. Like, we saw in those highlights, that's not an easy play to make. He came across half court and threw an alley-oop right on point to McCall Maker. You know what I mean? Like, he's legit.
Absolutely.
So it's great to see him re-sign. Shout out to you.
Game 2 and Game 3 combined, 15 assists, 2 turnovers.
I'm a fan.
The only time he gave the ball away was when Ian Clark hunted it down once the siren went, and we haven't seen it since. Hey, Tommy Vodanovic, who was a great pickup. We spoke last week about the guys. Sean Bruce is one of them, but the guys to mould the bottom end of the roster sounds like I'm diminishing how great they were, but like to fill those 7, 8, 9, 10 spots in the way they did, added to their depth. But you and Chase Buford yesterday talking about it, you asked him the question. Are you hearing that it might be hard for the Kings to hold on to him?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back with the Kings, So I think, hopefully we hear something soon about where he's going to land. But my understanding is they're not going to be able to, like Wani.
Yep.
And you know, it's interesting. Let's talk a little bit about why we're talking about these guys at the start of free agency. Because usually it's the big names first, and they're the dominoes to fall that let now all these guys find their homes. But you've been talking about this time and time again, Corey, over the last 2 years, the global attention on this league. Mm-hmm. The big dominoes, the big free agent names, Joe Luala-Chul, Duop Reith, Jalen Adams, you talk about Finn Delaney, Xavier Cooks. These guys now have NBA opportunities. Yeah. You finish the NBL season. If you've done well, Finn Delaney not right now, he's looking at Europe. But you've got big opportunity. And they're saying, let's put my contract negotiations on the back burner. Let me go do. Now, previously, they didn't have those. So these would be the names that were signing. And now all these other rotation guys would fall into place after that. But this year, it's back to front because these guys are saying, I want to explore I want to go to Summer League, see what I can get. Teams are having to wait on those big names. So in the meantime, they're saying, all right, well, let me put these other pieces in place. Illawarra's going out and grabbing Wani Swaka Buluk where they can. I'm understanding another team's going to grab Tommy Vodanovic.
What team?
Of Sydney. Well, let's wait and see.
Here's that grenade that I talk about, but he won't actually pull the... What do you got?
Here's the thing that I've said for years, and it started out as a joke. It ain't a cupcake league. And it started out as a joke. What y'all saying now? A rising tide lifts all boats. The league has grown from strength to strength, okay? Which means what? Think like EuroLeague. You can get an average Joe in EuroLeague, but why would you get him? EuroLeague, right? That's the touch that this league has now. So again, you may not be able to get the superstar, but those guys that fill in the void, the second unit players, they are now getting opportunities that would have never occurred before because of the global reach now of this league. Yeah. That's what's happening.
You're right.
Exposure leads to expansion. The more people seeing you and how good this league is, the more opportunities you're going to get in places where you never thought you can get these opportunities.
So just on that very, very accurate point you make, it also means that the clubs, right, don't have to... They can, if they're a great organisation, which I believe most of the NBL organisations are, you don't need to be as panicky because the calibre of player who wants to come to the NBL, if it doesn't work out at Summer League or a monstrous Euro deal, they want to come here. Right, so in the past, you were like, well, I got to get an import quick, because there is only a small pool of really, really good imports who look at the NBL as a legitimate place to build your CV and get back to the NBA where so many of them want to get to, right? Yeah. That's changed a lot now. It's a bigger pool. Now, there's always pressure about being able to get a Jalen Adams who can be the best player in the league, or Duop Reith in his situation to get an Illawarra. There's always pressure. Yeah. But it is a little diminished because there's a lot more players now, on your point, that are like, all right, no NBA? G League? Hell nah. I'm going to Australia.
And the patience point is a good one because now with all these star players saying, hold your horses, let's see what I can do with the NBA first, teams are just forced to be patient. Yeah. And just say, oh, because you just annoy these guys if you're not going to be patient, and then you're pushed off the table. So in the meantime, it's flipped. Used to be the stars first and then the role players. Right now it's flipped. It's the role players that are going to get signed up first and then the stars.
Just while we're on it, there was a star signed last week and he sits here. I wanted this photo to be up all year and, well, like in everything else on NBL Overtime, I was overruled. But he's back. The head coach is back, Simon Mitchell, as well for that 1 year deal. So there was a fair bit of conversation. Mitch Creek said, if I'm in the NBL, it's at Phoenix. That's proven to be true. And Simon Mitchell, as we said on this show, I think there's an opportunity to give him 1 year to prove that this year was actually an aberration, and the year before when they went deep to the semis was more on his skill as a coach.
And so there are two other really good players around the league who have said the same thing, not about the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, but about their team. Joe Luala-Chul. If I'm in the NBL, I'm re-signing with Melbourne United. Dejan Vasiljevic. If I'm in the NBL, I'm going to re-sign with the Sydney Kings. So that is now the expectation, and we see if that's how it plays out.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
Hashtag.
And it's really great to see those players loyal to the teams and not like this bounce around, let me partner up with you over here. They're sticking to their loyalty.
Not as fun for us.
Nah, definitely not. But
when Casper Ware type, movement, that's what's fun for us.
I'm going to stuff this name up. I said this last Friday as well, but...
You prepared already? You already knew you was
I'm
going
prepared. I said it last week, and I got it right last week, and I guarantee I'm going to stuff it up here, and it is in no way should you take it as a reflection that I'm not excited as hell to see Maluach in the NBL at Melbourne United, mainly because he threw down one of the biggest dunks you'll ever see for the great team name, the Salties. Have a look at that, and we're going to see that in the NBL next year. And Homicide, I'm excited.
I can tell you this, that dunk, this clip went viral. That was unbelievable athleticism, and I'm expecting to see some of that in NBL. Great sign. And that dunk alone got him signed. That athleticism cannot be denied.
Yeah. That's hopefully he can bring some of that to the NBL hardwood. I'm really enjoying your energy about
well, I'll tell you why.
Is he your guy? I mean,
I'll tell you why he's my guy. One, he can get above the rim like he can.
Yeah.
Two, you know that I believe that the Salties is the best team name in Australian sport.
Yep.
And three, I've booked in a Darwin trip to get up and go courtside. So I'm hoping there's some corporate hospitality attached to me giving a shout out to an organisation that now has Nate Jawai smack bang in the middle. I love what they're doing.
Kick out from Nate Jawai in the block. Very nice. It's an interesting signing. I mean, as I said on Market Watch the other day, I've been getting messages from people saying, hey, I think don't sleep on this guy. He can play. The dunk and the athleticism you clearly know about because of the viral video, but actually he can do some things. He can put it on the floor, he can make some plays, he can rebound, he can run the lane. The shooting is the question, right? He's always been a sort of a high 20, low 30% three-point shooter, which I think is interesting that Melbourne United have snapped him up because they re-signed Brad Newley. We saw what happened in Game 3, right? Without Chris Goulding on the floor, nobody could hit a shot. Caleb Agada, Matthew Dellavedova, Jack White, no one could shoot the ball and knock it down. So they're going to have to find how he fits into that mix, but exciting to have him in the league.
Adam Ford, you got anything? Sorry, mate.
No, I do not. Good luck to you.
Adam Ford, they made some interesting comments around Cairns Taipans and how they are looking to approach NBL 23, focusing on college players, not diminishing the NBL free agency, but that's the way they're having a look. I want to ask you firstly, Liam, because you were big on Yanni Wetzel a couple of years ago out of San Diego State, and he turned into, I think even though you were huge on him, I think you even went to a whole new level that you were expecting.
No.
Oh, you knew he was going to do that?
Yep.
Okay, well...
He was a fan. He was a fan from the beginning.
Absolutely, because then Yanni sent his jersey to us and then he went to Europe and then he come back, so the jersey at least worked for 1 year.
To a different team, yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me about who you see in a similar Yanni Wetzel mould coming out of college that might be at Cairns or might be around the league.
Well, Adam Ford's calling the Cairns Taipans the factory under his stewardship, which is kind of fun because of what he did there with Buluk and Keanu Pender last year. Now, injury helped. Give those guys some opportunity, and then he filled them with confidence. They're doing a lot of individual development work there, him and his coaching staff, and those guys had breakthrough seasons. So you can now go into the market and say, this is the place to come and get opportunity, get playing time. We're going to help you work on your game and to kickstart your career. I got my eyes on a guy named Lat Mayen, who is playing with the Cairns Marlins right now in the NBL 1.
Funny that.
Funny that. So, I think there's a strong chance he could end up with the Taipans. I don't think he's going to be alone in that regard. I'm also hearing sort of positive, good vibes about the potential return of Taj McCall, which is exciting. People want to see him back in the league. Adam Ford, I've spoken about it all through the season with Buluk. He works really hard on scouting. Even now while he's a head coach, did as an assistant, and he tracks all these guys through their college career, and he does the numbers and the analytics, and he had a good read that Buluk his game was going to transition into the pros, and so he's clearly trying to do the same with some other guys.
That's a great look. I think there needs to be a team in every league, let alone this league, and that's how you get to recruit those young, talented players who want an opportunity to play and learn under a coach like that. And he has the reference points, right? Buluk for sure. Keanu Pender. You come here, work your behind off, listen to me, and I can help develop you the best you can possibly get developed and playing on the court. So that's a great recruiting tool and reference point. And if I'm a young Aussie who wants to come into a league as tough as this is and give myself the best opportunity to develop and play on court immediately, I'm going to Cairns.
As far as who is like my this year's Yanni Wetzel,
Oh, you got someone else there?
Yeah,
have you?
I got a guy.
No, something else clicked into your mind. Go on, what do you got?
I got a guy who's like my this year's Yanni Wetzel, a returning college player who I'm excited to potentially see in the league. Sam Wardenberg. Not an Aussie, Kiwi. First encountered him when the NBL helped host the NBA's Basketball Without Borders camp here years and years ago. He was the MVP of that. Went over, played a full college career at the University of Miami. Made a
Big
bit
East.
Made a bit of an NCAA.
ACC, right? ACC.
Made a bit of a March Madness run. Of course, this is where Dejan Vasiljevic did his thing at the Hurricanes, and he could play. This guy can play. He's going to be in the NBL this season.
What team?
So lots of teams are having a swing at him.
Okay.
Lots of teams have been in the last
position?
little while. He's like a power forward, but he can step out, shoot it. Sam Wardenberg.
So just before we go any further, we've got a really talented kid coming out of Miami.
Yes.
And you're the number one newsbreaker in the game, and you just
No,
broke
no,
the
I'm
news
not.
that all the clubs are chasing him. Give us a little more.
Everyone's got trying to get their hands on Sam Wardenberg.
Will he be in Summer League?
I think I found it interesting that his name wasn't on that 33-man New Zealand squad announced the other day, and I got word he's focused on doing his thing at Summer League.
Just on that 30.
If everybody wants you in this league,
Yeah.
you're going to Summer League,
True.
fresh out.
Yeah.
Just on that 33 players who are named in the tallbacks, I'm not huge always on naming a huge amount of players in this situation, but I actually like the idea. I think it'd be kind of fun, just throwing him into training camp and going, let's roll through. And I actually think it's a really good opportunity for New Zealand basketball that haven't had, from an international level, a great last 3 or 4 years for a million different reasons, but I like it.
Good squad.
It's a monstrous squad. Good luck getting hotels. But yes, I agree. All right, you got anyone else there or not?
Nah, that'll do.
Okay, hey, you mentioned Brisbane earlier.
Yeah.
What are they doing? You mentioned with Antonius Cleveland. What do you expect Brisbane to do in the not too distant future?
My understanding is there's been a little bit of a delay with the Bullets into free agency.
Okay.
Yeah, just getting all their ducks in line from like in terms of the ownership and budget and getting it all ready to go for free agency and giving Sam McKinnon and James Duncan ready to go out into the market. So that's been a little bit of a delay. I'm not expecting Anthony Drimmick back at the Bullets. I think he's going to move on and look for a change of scenery. So that's the first little bit of news. As I said, they placed some calls to Antonius Cleveland. I understood. They're one of the teams that have been interested in Sam Wardenberg, but I'm not expecting Drimmick to re-sign in Brisbane.
Anything?
Need a point guard that's
do.
not Nathan Sobey.
They do. And so just on this situation, it's essentially out of the hands of James Duncan and Sam McKinnon, hence why there's a delay, right?
Yeah, but maybe I think
further
they're
up
at
the
that
run.
point now where they can get going.
Okay.
I thought maybe Will McDowell-White might be a guy there for Brisbane at the point guard spot and move Nathan Sobey to the 2, but I'm hearing that's not going to happen with McDowell-White.
All right, just quickly, NBA draft combine over the course of the weekend. Speaking of New Zealand and a former teammate of Will McDowell-White, Hugo Besson. Well, he went to work and it was fun to watch. And it is exciting to see these guys who been in our backyard in the last couple of years get up, and of course we get closer and closer. Great news about Dyson Daniels, or at least the rumoured him rocketing up the draft board as well. But Hugo Besson went to work. Homicide, it's fun to watch.
He was fun to watch here.
That's true.
And again, playing in this league against adults, grown men, coming out here playing against kids, young men, it's an advantage him. So the things that I've saw with these highlights, he was doing it here, so I expect the same thing. Nothing new to me, nothing new here to see.
I like the confidence he carried here, and he just carried it through to the combine, and I assume he'll carry it through to the next level once he gets drafted.
First round for you? Would you take him first round?
I'm taking him first round.
Lottery?
I wouldn't take him lottery. I'd take him first round. He'd be a guy like, you know who does a really good job getting guys late? The Spurs. I see that.
And Pop loves Europeans as well, so it might be. And Australians, of course.
And French.
Or sometimes when he plays Jock Landale, which we want a little bit more. All right, before we get out of here, Cole Zunic signed today. He had to restructure his contract. He's now a 2-year fully contracted player. Is that right?
Yes.
Beautifully done. He's played for Australia. And the Salties.